Welcome to the overworld. Wes here. Today we're going to take a look at simple drawbridges. This one here is set up with a hopper timer, which is the way I kind of like to do it now because it's kind of a fire and forget thing. Just press the button. Let's go back and take a look. I'll show you what happens. I'm so used to just running into my base here, I don't even think about it. But in just a couple of seconds, it will automatically retract. This is the way I've done a few of mine. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do this. T flip-flops and this using a lever. This is another one that I've got over here. You know, it only took me a real short period of time after I set this base up to figure out that using doors can result in creepers standing outside that you don't see, or getting attacked by zombies or shot by skeletons. Using these little drawbridges makes it so you can look outside, clear the area, and then exit your base safely. So let's zip off into creative and take a look at how to build these things. So here we are in my little creative demo world. We're going to look at 3 different designs, and all 3 of them are based on lava trenches that are 3 blocks wide. I use 3 blocks because none of the mobs can cross it. It's easy to use this design. It's got the lever in the center. You can reach it from both sides. Also, 3 blocks wide makes it easy to use slime blocks and just a single piston to move the gate up and down, which we'll do in the other 2. This design here uses a flip-flop, T flip-flop, which I'll show you how to build as an example of it over there. I've used a slightly different design underneath here, but I'll show you that as well. The T flip-flop enables you to activate it from either side at any time. One of the drawbacks of this design, and the first one, is you have to remember to close the gate behind you. Now, the third design uses a hopper timer and pressure plates inside your base. Now, you don't want to use pressure plates in your base with the T flip-flop because a peaceful mob can spawn in your base, and the gate could open and it would stay open. But the hopper timer will close it automatically for you in this design. So let's go over and look at the details of how to build this first one. It's extremely simple. I would recommend you do this if you're early in the game and you just want to protect your base. Doesn't require much resources. We're just going to dig a trench that's 6 by 5 and basically 3 deep. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 right there. I'm going to leave the blocks underneath where we're going to put the pistons. This will just make it easier. It'll be less redundant. But yeah, this is a great way to protect your base early in the game. You're only going to need 6 sticky pistons, a lever, a couple of repeaters, and some redstone. It's easy to build. You'll learn a little bit about how to use sticky pistons, how the power goes into them, how redstone flows, how levers work. Now notice we're leaving the 6 blocks in the center right there. And the reason that I'm doing that is because we're going to want to put our 6 sticky pistons right on top of those facing up. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to want to put whatever gate block, whatever block you want to walk on, right on top of these. Now to drive sticky pistons, you need to send a redstone signal right into any block that's touching them. So we're going to put a block right here next to that one. We're going to send a redstone signal into that one. That's a temporary block right there. And then we're going to put the lever up on top of this. Now notice we're going to knock this block out here, put some redstone in there, and then we'll turn the lever on. And that will light that redstone, and that one block will activate that piston right next to it. Okay, so this is just another block we're going to put here to allow the redstone to flow down. Then we're going to put a repeater facing into these to send the redstone signal right into those pistons. Okay, I'm going to wrap this redstone around here now. We're just making it so that we can send a redstone signal into the blocks that are touching the pistons. Okay, here we're going to do the ones that are underneath. And the reason we're putting repeaters down right here is it just ensures the signal goes directly into that block. Okay, so now we're all set. Notice we just hit the lever and there's a signal going into blocks that are touching all of the pistons. Okay, so now we're just going to cover it up and put our lava down. I'm going to use grass here at the level that the lava is going to be at so you can see how it lines up with the gates and everything that you're going to walk on. And then, of course, whenever you're doing something like this under the ground, you want to put torches down under here if you're in the overworld so that nothing spawns down here underneath your little build. Now, just for the heck of it here, you could use repeaters lining right along here, and you could cut down the size of this thing a little bit, run the signal right straight through those repeaters that way, like that. That'll prevent the signal from screwing up in the pistons and everything. But if you do it like this, it's a little bit cheaper, and you know the signal's going to be clear. Okay, so let's just keep filling this in. A little bit of, oh no, the other thing you need to think about here is if you put a block right there, it'll prevent the redstone signal from flowing down. This is pretty good. Watch this. So I put the block back here, okay, and I throw the lever, and notice that the signal does not flow down to all the other pistons because it's being cut off by that. So in order to accommodate this, we're going to put a half slab down here. So see how the signal can flow over the top of that, at the corner of that block? Okay, so the signal's flowing real fine. Okay, so half slab there is really important. Okay, and we'll just fill in the rest of it. And then we'll make our little trench to contain the lava that's going to be 3 blocks wide. Now this design uses a couple of more repeaters than are absolutely necessary, but I like to use the repeaters so that they're facing into the blocks that the pistons are going to be on, because they're less likely to glitch out. I have had cases where I'd set things up like this, and if I didn't use repeaters, sometimes they wouldn't fire correctly. So now we're going to put the lava down. Oh, well, before we do that, let's fill in that hole with dirt. I like to put the lava pretty close to the bridge. Lava will flow approximately 3 blocks. And this will just make sure that it flows in pretty quickly after you throw the lever and close your gate. You can figure out how to do this. Actually, around my base, I had the lava flowing down and didn't really use that many buckets of lava until I got around on that one side. So there you go. Gate opens and closes. Can be reached from both sides. Very simple and highly effective. All right, let's go take a look at the T flip-flop design. A T flip-flop is used to make it so that you can send a signal in, i.e. press a button and something will turn on and stay on. And then when you press it again, it'll turn off and stay off. So the signal comes along into this repeater here, and then it goes into this piston, and very briefly the signal travels through that yellow block right there, okay, into the repeater on the other side and drives this piston very briefly. It's so fast the piston cannot suck the block back. Watch this. When you press the button, see the piston pushed that block out, but it didn't pull it back. So the next time we press the button, that block, the piston will reach out, grab the block, and pull it back, which is very quick, like that. Okay, now the design that we're going to use is going to be a little bit more compact than this. So I'm gonna lower this piston, and I'm going to make it like a little L here. But the concept is all the same, okay? And instead of using the little torch that I use right there, I'm going to use a redstone block because I want to make this thing low to the ground. Okay, so here's the block that the piston's going to touch. Okay, the back of the piston's going to touch that block right there. I'm going to put a repeater on top of that to drive the piston very briefly when the signal comes through the block that's on the top. So here's our piston right here facing out. Okay, and then we're going to put the repeater down right here. That'll just quickly send a signal into it. And then I'm going to put a redstone block out here that we're going to move out and move back. So here we go. Ready? Hit the button, shoots it out, and it stays there. Okay, and we pull it right back. That's exactly the design that we're going to use for our next build. Now to speed things up here, I've gone ahead and dug a 5 by 7, 3 block deep hole where all the redstone and everything's going to lie. And we're going to key this all off of where we put the switch, which is right next to the walkway that we're going to want to use. And now we can put buttons on the top of these things so we can send the signal straight down. So blocks like this is where our redstone's going to lie. And then over here, this is where we're going to put the little L-shaped T flip-flop. Okay, so there's the sticky piston we're going to drive the redstone block with. Okay, here's where we're going to put our little repeaters on top of these. This is the block that the signal's going to go through very briefly. Okay, so here's the repeater coming out of that block. Here's the repeater going into it. Little redstone going up to right underneath where our button is. And we'll throw down a block of redstone over here in front of the piston, and this will complete the T flip-flop. Okay, good show. Let's see if it works. Push the button, it goes out. Push the button again, it sucks back in. Outstanding. Okay, so now we're going to want to put another block over here. This is going to be where the signal comes back up from the button on the other side. It's going to run along the floor here, up over there. But before we do that, we're going to put a piston down here, and this is going to be what drives the gate up. And on top of this, we're going to put 6 slime blocks. Now the reason we're using the slime blocks like this is they'll move anything that they're touching, so we can move everything with one sticky piston, but a sticky piston can only move 12 blocks total. So it's going to be the 6 slime blocks on the top, and then the additional 6 blocks that'll close the gate. We have to go back over and clean that piece of gold off over there. Okay, excellent. So over here we're going to want to put a repeater down right next to that piston so the signal goes right past it. Obviously signals will only go in and out of the ends of the repeater, so this makes it so that that sticky piston doesn't get driven as the redstone drives by it. Okay, so now we'll go up here and put the button down, at the same height as the one on the other side. First I'll just put a block in here, then we'll go down and put one underneath it, okay, that the redstone will come down on. Redstone will travel through the air, the signal will travel through the air into the redstone that's on the top of that block. So we're just going to step the redstone right up here like this. Redstone here and there, and that'll make it so the signal will travel down across the other side. We'll stick a button on the top of that, and the signal will flow in exactly the same path into that flip-flop that we had before. So here we go. Moves it up, it stays up. Okay, you can go to the other side, hit the button, it stays down. So all the redstone is basically done. So now we need to put down blocks that the slime blocks will not stick to when they rise up here. I like to use furnaces as the cheapest resource for this. You can use obsidian, and there's a few other immovable blocks, but I like to use furnaces. So we're throwing the furnaces down here just to make it so that when the slime blocks come up, they won't stick to where we put our lava. And that really is it. We're just going to fill this in now. So now that you know how all this thing works, you can make this a slightly more compact design if you want. But I laid it out like this with a little more space around the slime blocks and everything down there where the redstone is. Whoops. Just to show you how the signals travel and everything. I wanted to make this about as relatively easy build as I could. So we're just going to close it off just like we did on the other one. 3 blocks wide. And we'll go down, throw some torches down below to make sure nothing spawns down there. And the placement of the lava will be basically identical to what we did in the design before. So I'm going to speed the video up now, and you can take a look at it when we're all okay. Well, that's a moderately more complex build, requiring a little knowledge of redstone, pistons, and slime blocks. Let's move on now to the bridge that uses a hopper timer. So in this build, just like we did in the last one, I tried to speed things up a little bit by digging a 7x9 hole here that's 3 blocks deep. We're going to start this off by figuring out where we want to put the pressure plates. So here's the 7 blocks across, okay, and then 9 blocks deep. Shows you the size of the hole. So we'll set up the where we're going to put the pressure plates right here. Going to put them on top of those 2 blocks there, and then we're going to go down underneath here and set up where we're going to receive the signal from the pressure plates. That was just a temporary block there. This is where the signal is going to come down right here. So let's place the redstone and show you where that's going to go. There's a number of different ways to do this. This is just the simplest. Okay. Now we're going to come over here a couple of blocks and start to build our little hopper timer. Now the way I do it is sticky piston, redstone block, regular piston, and I use the redstone block just like I did in the T flip-flop to send the signal. So that's the first sticky piston in the hopper timer. Here's the redstone block that we're going to move over, and we're going to make it power a sticky piston facing up right here. Okay, so when we move it over behind that, that'll fire off that sticky piston. And this sticky piston, this is just a regular piston, I'm sorry, but a regular piston right here. That's just going to push the, make sure the redstone block is pushed back. So a dab of redstone behind it, a regular block over here, and then a comparator here to set regularly. The comparators go right next to the pistons. So there's another comparator facing the other way. Put down the block, and we're going to use that redstone that's going in there, just like we did on the other side. So I put a hopper down here. Notice I'm going to crouch here because I need the hopper to face into that one. I'm going to knock this one off and face the hopper back into that one so the two are facing each other. And that's the basics of a hopper timer. So on top of here, we'll put the slime blocks just like we did in the previous build. Once again, it's 2x3. We'll put the block we want to walk on top of those. That gets a total of the 12 blocks that we need. Maximum we can move with the sticky piston. And then we're just going to raise this up here. I put the pressure plates back one because in my world, in one of my builds it's easier. I can kind of look outside in front of it and back up and step on the pressure plates. If you want to, it's a little more complicated to put them right next to that. This is a little simpler way to do it. Now notice in this design where the vertical piston there is right next to where the redstone block is. We could have done that in the other design, and that would be one way to make it more compact. But I just wanted to show you in the other design how to use the redstone and the repeater. This is a much more, kind of a more dense design. So now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put the button up on top and how I'm going to bring the signal over to the other side of the hopper timer. I think what we'll do is, let me select the same block that I'm using over there. Right, and we'll put it up on top here. Now you could put the button facing down like we did in the other in the T flip-flop design, but I'm going to do this just to show you a different way to do it. So it's going to be up a little higher here. Those bring it over like that. Okay, fantastic. Just knock that out temporarily here. So we're going to put our buttons on that, and then we're going to have the signal travel down this little staircase right here and around the hopper timer. Okay. And I'm going to just make it clear the hopper timer by a whole block here, so I don't have to worry about the signal. I'm not going to try to, bring it in there with repeaters or anything, make it real compact. I do need a repeater here though, because the signal is going to be more than 14 blocks over around the back here and into the hopper timer. So we're just linking these two up, so you can either step on the pressure plates or press the button, and now it should function. So let's throw just a few in here and make this thing run pretty quick. Let's try. Pretty good, yeah. Okay, so it'll be pretty fast. You're gonna have to figure out how many you want in your world, depending on how long you want this thing to stay up. Okay. So that's it basically for the redstone. So now we can throw a bunch of buttons around this thing. In one of my builds, I put them all around it to make it really easy when I'm coming back to my base. Okay, well, finishing this off is going to be just like the other design. We're just going to make our little trench that the lava is going to flow in. We're going to put some furnaces down around where we think that the slime blocks are going to run, light up the bottom of it, and finish it off. So I'm going to fast forward through all that. Okay, so we're going to finish this off by putting the half slab down right here so the signal will travel down underneath it like we did before. Make sure it functions right. Throw down a couple more blocks here. Put down the lava. And now you can take your pick from any one of these three designs. First one was very simple. No slime blocks, just a little bit of work with pistons. This one is a little bit more complicated, but you learn how to use hopper timers and things like that. And the second one that we did there, you can see how you use T flip-flops and circuits like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Wes, and I'm out.